I'm just wondering right there. I'm looking at Steph Curry. He's on the court right now, getting ready to warm up.
Yeah, man.
For those that don't know, people don't realize this. You know your basketball. You obviously know your football, playing football at Georgia and stuff like that. But you know your basketball, and you go back a ways with Draymond Green. Talk to us about that relationship for a second.
Well, ironically, it started in this new life of mine. Obviously, as you said, a former athlete, but I'm doing Sparkle. Rest in peace, Whitney Houston.
Yes.
So I'm doing Sparkle with Derek Luke and Tika Sumpter and Carmen Ejogo, Michael Epps, Whitney Houston. And I meet none other than Joe Dumars, Joe D. I call him Joe 4. And Draymond is in the house one night, and he's a friend of Jordan Dumars, the son of Joe. And he basically became my little brother on the spot. He basically told me what he wanted, what he expected out of his life, and not just as a basketball player, but as a man. And you know, for me, I was like, whoa, this kid is really got some fire. We just kind of clicked at that moment.
How is Draymond Green, because you know him personally, how different is he off the court than what we see on the court? We see a great player, but somebody that's very temperamental. This postseason, he's kept his cool, but that is an aberration for him. How is he compared to, on the court compared to how he is off the court?
I think that off the court, he is allowed, if I can use that as a word, he's allowed to be the big man that he is. No one questions it. Nobody questions his fight nor his ability. So I think off the court, he doesn't have to put that on as much. I think on the court, for you and I, he gives us remnants of the old school player. And I think being the 36th draft pick, if I'm not mistaken,
second round,
to become what he became, I think there's a chip on his shoulder that he has to play on the court with. So off the court, he doesn't have to carry that chip as much, but he's still fire me still, bro. He's still a hell of a lion of a player. And to me, the emotional leader of Golden State for this entire run of Golden State.
Omari Hardwick, what did Draymond Green tell you about how he expects this series to unfold, these Toronto Raptors?
What he told me when we were communicating about the fact that KD's not there and the fact that Draymond has to pick up the missing offense, of course, he has to pick that up. He's still guarding 5 people on the court. He's still rebounding. He's still being a disruptor on defense. But in terms of like picking it up as an offensive threat, what he told me was we got to stay more focused than ever before, but we got to go back to what we were doing before KD got here. So obviously they had a chemistry going. Shout-outs to Livingston. Shout-outs to Iguodala. Shout-outs to Clay, Curry, and Draymond. And no slight to KD, but they got to just go back to Blueprint 1, because before KD got here, they were in a blueprint that was pretty much rocking. And so he just basically spoke about that. Like, let's get back to where we were before we invited KD to join the party.
You look at Draymond, you look at the Golden State Warriors, they clearly appear to be on this mission to prove that they can win without Kevin Durant. I think the ringleader in that kind of thinking is somebody like Draymond.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Talk to me about why.
Because at the end of the day, and he did a great job of, let's use the word great, right? He did a great job speaking at a press conference where it turned into a speech about being great. And that is way more than just a choice, or not way more than a choice. It's way more of a choice than to just wake up and be great. He said it's a choice. You getting up at 5 a.m., 3 a.m., hell, when nobody else is getting up at the same time you are, to be the greatest at doing what he's learned how to do on the court. He spoke about it, and he spoke about being better than great and going to that next level. And even though every player perhaps doesn't strive for that on his team, I know that Draymond strives for that every night. It's like you in this world of journalism / the historian that you are. You strive to be the greatest every time you step foot on a mic and in front of a camera. And so I think naturally Draymond, again, as the emotional leader of the team, he would be the one that everybody will follow suit at being great every single night.
No one should ever insult him by assuming that basketball is not his priority, meaning playing the actual game.
Great point.
But in the same breath, obviously, even though he's under contract for another year, if you're the Golden State Warriors, you got some decisions to make, and one of them could be about Draymond Green this upcoming summer.
Absolutely.
Is that on his mind at all in terms of proving himself and revalidating himself as one of the great cogs in the wheel that is the Golden State Warriors?
Quietly, perhaps. Quietly. You know what I mean? Like, he's too much of a force to be reckoned with and too focused as an athlete and as a competitor to be thinking about that. That's kind of like what you've said it before, that's background noise for him. You know, it's not the forefront of what his thoughts are, but for sure, he's a competitor, which I love. I love it most about him. You know, it's kind of like the contracts may be coming to an end with Power, but if they revved us back up and said, oh, I need you for 4 more, come on, bro, I'm back.
With that being said, the Toronto Raptors are the opposition. Obviously, they got to the finals for the first time in franchise history.
Yes, sir.
They've got a country backing them, not a city. It appears that it's going to be a tough matchup for the Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
What do you believe, knowing basketball the way that you do?
Yes, sir.
What do you believe the Toronto Raptors can do to win this series?
Got to be defense. You know, and I think you and I spoke about it earlier on First Take this morning, but I think that defensively they might edge out Golden State. And Golden State is, I mean, obviously we talked about Klay being a great defender, Draymond being a superb defender, KD, they're missing that defense, but they can get defense. But really, to me, where Toronto can really shine is that defensive force and the bench. And the scrapping play, to me, of Lowry. Lowry will be definitely an X factor, if not more than an X factor. If he can actually contain Curry in some capacity, and the bench can do what they can do, and Siakam can do more than what we've seen him do in prior games, then they got a shot. But obviously, your boy's going to get what he's going to get, and that being the beast, the man, the myth, the legend, the claw himself,
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard.
I was getting ready to ask you about him. What do you expect from him in this series? What do you see? What do you see when you're watching him play this postseason?
A hellified level of focus, man. I understand why there's been comparisons to MJ on both sides of the ball. I understand it, you know.
All right.
He might not be the magic that MJ brought, might not be the same level of charisma or what have you, but on the court, brother, his performances are right there. It's pretty special.
We got something called the drip clause. I just learned today that the drip clause,
what is
the
that?
word drip, you got the younger generation that's using that. That's supposed to be swag or whatever the case is.
Our
so you got the drip scale right here. And I think we got Andre Iguodala. Now, right there, he looked like somebody that wants to play golf but hasn't quite pulled it off. That's what it looks like to me. That's just me. That's just what it looks like to me. I got to talk to him about that wardrobe right there. That was like a wannabe pullover sweater. It's just me. I didn't see it right there.
It was a pullover. It was orange, too.
All right. There we go. There we go. I don't know about that one.
But you dripped out, though, bro.
Of course
you look like Ghost
tonight.
I am.
I'm trying to.